Engaging hook. In relationships, true value is not measured in wealth or gain, but in love, sacrifice, and understanding. Have you ever wondered how a simple act of kindness can change someone's life? This story will remind you that in relationships, counting profit and loss only leads to emptiness. Stay with me till the end, and you'll discover a lesson that will touch your heart. In a small town, where narrow streets bustled with life, a man named Vinod lived with his wife and their 4-year-old son, Golu. Vinod was a hardworking individual, striving to give his family the best life possible. Though he valued his relationships, he often found himself caught in the calculations of gain and loss. One day, an experience on a simple road trip changed his perspective forever. Once upon a time, Vinod and his family were traveling to another city to attend a relative's daughter's birthday celebration. They had carefully selected a beautiful gift, packed with love and care, and embarked on their journey in high spirits. The road stretched before them, the breeze carried the promise of a pleasant day, and little Golu, full of excitement, eagerly peered out of the window. As their car approached a bridge over a river, Golu's eyes lit up. He clapped his hands in excitement and shouted, "Papa, watermelon, watermelon!" Vinod looked around and spotted a young girl standing by the roadside, selling watermelons. Her small stall was nothing more than a wooden crate stacked with fresh fruit. The scorching sun cast a harsh glare, yet the girl stood there patiently, hoping to make a sale. Vinod stopped the car, and his wife lowered the window. She asked the girl for the price of a watermelon. 50 rupees, the girl answered politely. But Vinod's wife, trying to bargain, offered 40 rupees instead. The girl shook her head, explaining that she could not sell it for less. After some back and forth, she finally agreed, touched by the child's enthusiasm. She smiled as she handed the watermelon to Golu, who eagerly reached out to take it. However, in his excitement, Golu couldn't hold the fruit properly, and it slipped from his hands. The watermelon hit the ground, bursting open. Golu's eyes welled up with tears as he cried, "My watermelon! My watermelon!" The young girl, instead of being upset over the loss, immediately ran back to her stall. Without a moment's hesitation, she picked another watermelon and handed it to Golu, gently wiping his tears away. Vinod's wife, however, insisted that they would not pay for the broken watermelon. The girl, with a soft and understanding voice, replied, "I gave it to your son because he reminded me of my little brother." Her words carried a deep sorrow, and when Vinod's wife asked about her brother, the girl's eyes filled with unshed tears. She explained that her younger brother had passed away not long ago. He had just turned 2 when illness took him away. They had celebrated his birthday recently, unaware that it would be their last. The pain of losing him was still fresh in her heart. But when she saw Golu, she felt an instant connection, as if her brother had come back to her for a fleeting moment. Vinod's wife was deeply moved. She reached into her purse and pulled out a small ring, the very one they had bought as a gift for their relative's daughter. Holding the girl's hand, she gently placed the ring in her palm. "Take this," she said. "It's a gift from a mother to her daughter." The girl hesitated, unsure of what to do with such a gift, but Vinod's wife reassured her, telling her that it was a small token of love, just as she had shared love with Golu. Vinod, who had been watching the interaction silently, felt a wave of realization wash over him. He had spent so much of his life measuring relationships by what he could gain or lose. He had even been fighting with his elder brother over a property dispute, unwilling to compromise. But in that moment, he understood the true meaning of relationships. The journey continued, but something inside Vinod had changed. His mind replayed the girl's words, her kindness, and the silent grief she carried. He thought about his own brother. Years ago, they had been inseparable, but greed and the desire to hold on to more had driven a wedge between them. They had stopped speaking, each trying to claim their right, without realizing they were losing something far more precious. The little girl had taught him something invaluable. She had lost her brother, yet instead of harboring bitterness, she chose to share love. Vinod thought about all the moments he had spent arguing over material possessions while missing out on the joy of togetherness. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Vinod picked up his phone. He hesitated for a moment but then dialed his elder brother's number. When his brother answered, his voice was cautious, uncertain of what the call meant. Vinod took a deep breath and said, "Brother, you can keep the big shop in the market. I will take the smaller one. It doesn't matter anymore." There was a long silence on the other end. Then his brother, his voice filled with emotion, asked, "What happened to you, Vinod? Why this sudden change?" Vinod smiled to himself. I met someone today who taught me that in relationships, we shouldn't count profit or loss. I realized how much I've lost by keeping score. I don't want to lose my brother too. Tears welled up in his brother's eyes. For years, they had fought, but in this moment, the walls between them crumbled. Come home soon, his brother whispered. Let's sit together and talk, like we used to. Vinod hung up, feeling lighter than he had in years. His wife, who had heard the conversation, smiled and placed her hand on his. Golu, oblivious to the significance of what had just happened, was happily munching on his watermelon, laughing as juice dribbled down his chin. As they drove home, Vinod realized that the real wealth in life was not in material possessions but in the relationships we build. The little girl had reminded him of something so simple, yet so profound. Love, kindness, and sacrifice make life meaningful. In the rearview mirror, he saw the little girl standing by her stall, waving at them. And as he waved back, he knew that the lessons of that day would stay with him forever. This story teaches us a powerful lesson. True relationships are not about calculating gain or loss, but about love, sacrifice, and understanding. When we stop measuring relationships in terms of profit, we find true happiness. Just like the little girl said, love and care matter more than money or material things. If this story touched your heart, take a moment to reflect. Do you value your relationships based on love or gain? Share this story with someone who needs to hear it, and let's spread the message that true relationships are built on love, not on calculations. Like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories that remind us of the beauty of human connection.